The moment this trailer begins, you can feel it. That heavy, intense atmosphere that tells you something big is about to happen. Not just another battle, not just another emotional reunion, but something that could completely change the fate of every single character we've been following. After everything we saw in episode 8, especially the fragile peace between Jamie and William, this trailer makes it very clear that that peace is not going to last long. In fact, it looks like it might be tested in the worst possible way. The war is no longer something distant. It is here, it is real, and it is about to demand sacrifices. What really caught my attention is how the trailer focuses so much on tension rather than action. It's not just about fighting, it's about choices. Jamie looks more determined than ever, but at the same time, there is something in his expressions that feels different, almost like he already knows what is coming. And that makes everything even more emotional, because when a character like Jamie starts to feel uncertain, you know the situation is far more serious than it seems. At the same time, Claire's presence in the trailer feels stronger and more mysterious. The way she looks at Jamie, the way she speaks, it all hints that she might already be preparing herself for something terrible. And if you remember what we saw before about her healing abilities and that strange blue light, this could be a major clue that something life-changing is about to happen again. Honestly, I cannot ignore the possibility that the trailer is quietly preparing us for a moment where life and death will collide once again. But what makes this even more intense is William. Because after finally accepting the truth about Jamie, we expected things to calm down between them. Instead, the trailer suggests the exact opposite. William looks like he is about to be pulled into something dangerous, something that will force him to act not just as a son, but as a man who has to make his own decisions. And that creates a very powerful emotional conflict, because now he is no longer running away from the truth. He is standing right in front of it. On top of that, the situation with Lord John Grey still feels like a ticking time bomb. Even though the trailer doesn't reveal everything, the tension surrounding his fate is still very much there. And if there is one thing this series has taught us, it's that when something feels quiet, it usually means something devastating is about to happen. Another detail that really stood out to me is how the trailer keeps shifting between hope and fear. One moment, it feels like there is still a chance to fix everything. And the next moment, it feels like everything is about to fall apart. That emotional balance is what makes this trailer so powerful, because it keeps you guessing every second. You don't know who will survive, you don't know who will suffer, and most importantly, you don't know who will have to make the ultimate sacrifice. And I think that's exactly what this episode is building toward. A moment where someone we care about deeply will have to pay a very heavy price. The closer we get to the finale, the more it feels like the story is tightening around these characters, leaving them with fewer and fewer options. And this trailer is not hiding that at all. It is showing us that everything is about to come together. The war, the relationships, the secrets, and the emotional wounds that have been building for so long. And when all of that collides in one episode, there is no way things will stay the same. Honestly, this might be one of those episodes that people will talk about for a very long time, because it doesn't just look exciting, it feels important. It feels like a turning point. And if the trailer is even slightly accurate, then episode 9 is not just going to continue the story, it is going to change it forever. If there is one thing this trailer makes absolutely clear, it is that the Battle of King's Mountain is no longer just a possibility, it is inevitable. And the way Outlander is building up to this moment feels very different from anything we have seen before. This does not feel like a battle that is only about strategy or victory. It feels personal. It feels emotional. And most importantly, it feels dangerous in a way that goes beyond just war. Because when you really pay attention to the trailer, you start to notice that the focus is not on how the battle will be fought, but on what it will cost. Jamie, in particular, stands at the center of all of this. The determination in his presence is still there, but now it is mixed with something heavier. Almost like he has already accepted that this fight might take everything from him. And that is what makes this situation so intense, because we are not just watching a man preparing for war. We are watching a man who might be walking directly toward his fate. At the same time, Claire's role in all of this feels even more important than before. There is this quiet strength in her, but also a deep concern that she cannot hide anymore. The trailer seems to hint that she understands the risks better than anyone else, and that she might be the only one truly aware of what could happen next. And if we connect this to what we already know about her abilities, especially that mysterious power she used before, then it becomes very hard to ignore the idea that she may once again be forced to do something impossible. Something that could change the outcome of this battle in a way no one expects. But here is where things get even more interesting. Because while the war is getting closer, the emotional conflicts are also reaching their peak. William is no longer just reacting to the truth about Jamie. He is now part of the story in a much bigger way. The trailer suggests that he may find himself in a position where he has to choose between duty and family. And that kind of decision is never simple, especially for someone who has only just begun to understand who he really is. The way he looks, the way he carries himself in these moments, it all tells us that he is changing. And not in a small way, but in a way that could define his entire future. On top of that, we cannot ignore the possibility that Lord John Grey's situation is still going to play a major role in this episode. Even if the trailer does not show everything directly, the tension surrounding him has not disappeared. In fact, it feels like it is building towards something even bigger. Because if there is one thing we know, it is that his connection to both Jamie and William is too important to be resolved in a simple way. There is still something more to come there. Something that could pull all three of them into the same conflict at the worst possible time. And that is where everything starts to feel connected. The war, the relationships, the past decisions, they are all leading to the same point. Another detail that really stands out is how the trailer plays with the idea of time running out. There is this constant feeling that there is no more room for hesitation. No more time to fix mistakes. Everything is moving forward, whether the characters are ready or not. And that creates a sense of urgency that is impossible to ignore. Every choice now matters more than ever. Every action has consequences. And when a story reaches this kind of intensity, it usually means that something irreversible is about to happen. Honestly, it would not be surprising at all if episode 9 becomes one of the most emotional episodes of the entire series. Not just because of the battle, but because of what the characters are going through internally. The fear, the hope, the uncertainty, it is all there. And it is all building toward a breaking point. And if the trailer is anything to go by, that breaking point is going to hit hard. Because this is no longer just about surviving the war. It is about who they will become after it. And whether they will even get the chance to find out. And now, when it comes to the biggest surprises this trailer might be hiding, I think this is where things become even more intense and unpredictable. Because if you look closely at how Outlander usually handles its most important episodes, there is always something unexpected waiting just beneath the surface. And this time, it really feels like episode 9 is preparing to deliver one of those moments that completely changes how we see the story. One of the strongest possibilities here is the return of familiar faces, not in the present timeline, but through emotional flashbacks. The tone of the trailer, especially the way it shifts between tension and reflection, gives a strong feeling that Jamie's journey might be reaching a very critical point. And when a character like Jamie reaches that kind of moment, the story often takes us back through the people who shaped him. That could mean we might see characters we have not seen in a long time, reminding us of everything Jamie has been through and everything he has fought for. And honestly, if that happens, it will not just be for nostalgia. It will be to prepare us emotionally for something much bigger. At the same time, I cannot ignore the possibility that the trailer is quietly hinting at something even more shocking. The idea that Jamie might actually fall during the Battle of King's Mountain. Now I know this sounds extreme, but when you connect all the clues, it starts to make a strange kind of sense. The emotional weight, the focus on his relationships, the way Claire is being positioned in the story. It all feels like the setup for a moment that will break the audience. But what makes this theory even more interesting is what could happen after that. Because if there is one element in this story that still feels mysterious and not fully explored, it is Claire's ability to bring someone back from the edge of death. We have seen hints of it before, and the trailer seems to be leaning into that idea once again. So if Jamie does fall, there is also a real chance that Claire could try to save him in a way that goes beyond anything we have seen so far. And that would not just be emotional. It would be unforgettable. Another storyline that feels like it is building toward a big moment is Fanny's. Even though the trailer does not focus on her for too long, the small hints we get are enough to raise some very interesting questions, especially when it comes to the gemstone and those strange buzzing sounds. If you have been paying attention, you already know that these are not random details. They are directly connected to time travel. And that opens the door to a completely different kind of twist. Because what if episode 9 is not just about war and survival, but also about discovery? What if Fanny is on the edge of learning the truth about time travel? And if that happens, it could lead to one of the most emotional moments in the entire series. The idea that she might try to go back and see the people she has lost, it is heartbreaking, but also very possible. And if Claire becomes part of that journey, then we could be looking at a storyline that connects the past and the present in a very powerful way. But beyond all these theories, I think the most important thing this trailer does is create a feeling that nothing is guaranteed anymore. Not safety, not survival, not even the future we thought these characters were heading toward. Everything feels uncertain, and that is exactly what makes it so exciting. Because when a story reaches this point, it means we are about to witness something that will leave a lasting impact. The kind of episode that people will talk about, analyze, and remember for a very long time. And if episode 9 truly delivers on everything this trailer is hinting at, then we are not just getting another chapter in the story. We are getting a moment that could define the entire final season. So now it all comes down to this. What do you think is really going to happen? Do you believe the trailer is preparing us for a heartbreaking loss? Or is it setting up a miracle that will change everything at the last moment? And what about the possibility of time travel playing a bigger role than ever before? Whatever your theories are, one thing is certain. Episode 9 is not going to be simple, and it is definitely not going to be easy to watch. Let's meet in the comments and talk about everything you think is coming next.